If you're 45, 50, or even 60 and you feel like it's too late to start investing, this video is for you. I didn't start until I was 50, I had no clue what an ETF was, and I thought mutual funds were safe, and I assumed that my pension would be enough. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I went from zero strategy to a $350,000 portfolio and the steps that I took to catch up. Even though I started late, you'll see what I did right, what I learned the hard way, and what I would do if I were starting over again. If you've been sitting on the sidelines thinking it's too late, I'm here to show you it's not, and I'll show you how. My name is Darren. I am a regular Canadian who didn't start investing until I was 50, which was only 26 months ago. I used to think it was too late, but I started anyway. This channel is your proof that starting late still works. I spent most of my adult life avoiding investing. Why? Because I didn't think I needed to. I had a pension. My parents gave me solid guidance. I figured I was covered. But I also had a real fear of the markets. Back in 2008, during the financial crisis, my parents lost nearly $1 million. They were in a high-risk private equity real estate deal that looked good until it didn't. The kicker? They put me in those same investments. So when the crash came, I didn't just lose money, I lost trust. After that, I completely backed away from investing. My risk tolerance, zero. Now, before we go any further, a quick favor here. I've noticed that 80% of the people watching my videos aren't subscribed. Now, I totally get it. You're browsing looking for some information, but if you're 45 plus and started late like I did, this channel is built for you. And hitting that subscribe button is totally free and only takes a second, but more importantly, it tells the YouTube algorithm that this kind of content matters, and it helps me keep showing up in your feed with new content that's actually relevant to you. I didn't choose to become an investor. It was something life forced me into. When my father-in-law passed away, I had to take over our investments, which included my wife's. My father-in-law had managed them for her for his entire life. And honestly, I had no idea what she even had, nor did I have any idea how to deal with it. When I looked into it, I was shocked. She had less than we thought, and most of it was tied up in high-fee mutual funds, something I barely understood at the time. I started doing some research, and I learned two big things. Those mutual funds were expensive and charging high fees, which were eating up the growth of the portfolio. And we weren't on track to retire. I ran some numbers using some various online tools that I could find. With my pension and her investments combined, we needed about $500,000 in her account to match the retirement income that I would get. That's when I found DIY investing on YouTube. I started researching and I realized I had totally misunderstood the most important investing tool that is free and available to every investor in Canada. That's right, it's the TFSA, or tax-free savings account. I thought it was just a savings account, and for years I had used it like one, earning, maybe 1.5% or less in interest. And that sounds all right until you realize what the money could have done. Now, I'm always interested to hear your comments and stories. Did you have the same understanding that I did of the TFSA? If so, leave it in the comments and share it with the community. Now, here's my real life story that made me realize how powerful the TFSA is and how much I missed out on. During one of my work relocations, we had to sell our home and we ended up renting for a few years, and the proceeds from that had to be put somewhere. So we put a large sum of that money, about $200,000, into our TFSA, which was the maximum that we were allowed to do. The idea being that, we're gonna make about 1.5% on that $200,000 over the course of those 3 years. But the other $300,000 just sat around doing nothing. If I'd known what I know now, I could have put that money into a non-registered investment account and used some sort of short-term investing strategy like a cover call ETF. Even earning just like 8%, that extra $300,000 could have made $75,000 in 3 years. Instead, it earned almost nothing, and yep, it still stings. So I opened up a TFSA, started investing, and bought everything from VFE to XIC, plus REITs, dividend stocks like Bell and Enbridge, and even some covered calls. But truthfully, my strategy was all over the place, and that's okay, because you're going to start like that too. Not to mention, I had no idea how much to invest. If you want to see how investing in Enbridge went, you should check out the video in my playlist. The bottom line here is, I was buying based on hype and not some research, and that never ends well. My first account was with Wealthsimple, and honestly, it was the right choice. There's no commissions, and it's really easy to use, and it helped me build confidence as I started investing for real. If you've never heard of Wealthsimple, I have a video in the description below that will help you understand and get up to speed about Wealthsimple. It's very easy, and you can be up and investing in about 15 minutes. If you decide it's the broker for you and you want to use it, don't forget to use my referral link because I do get a small kickback. Now, our TFSA isn't maxed out just yet. We're just over halfway there, and that's actually why I started this channel. I wanted to track my journey to maxing out and showing others that it is possible, even if you're starting out late in life like I did at 50. As of May, the TFSA is at $65,000, so we're just over halfway there. And our total portfolio crossed $350,000, and that's come from setting up regular investments every 2 weeks when we get paid, which is another great feature about Wealthsimple. You can set up reoccurring transfers and investments. That way you're not tempted to use that money for something else. So here are the key points from my investing strategy till now. Contributing $1,000 every 2 weeks, reinvesting our tax refund every year, and sticking to a diversified ETF strategy. Now, I have the portfolio split so that it's just over 60% in US currency, with the other remaining in Canadian currency. And this is influenced by the type of account. My core ETFs now include VFV and VU for US growth, XIC for Canadian exposure, XEI for dividends, XEF and XEC for international and emerging markets. And I also hold a number of single stock positions as well as some covered calls. Now, when it comes to my single stock positions, I am looking to trim some of these down. For instance, if you watch my last video, I talked about TD Bank and what I'm going to be doing with that in the future, so don't forget to check that out. I use 2 different apps to help me manage and track my portfolio. Now, when I first started out, I used spreadsheets, but that got really cumbersome, and let's face it, time is money, something I don't have a lot of, meaning the money. I use Wealthica to track everything because it brings all of my accounts from my different brokers and shows me the portfolio and asset mix and performance in one place. This app is great because it allows me to see my total holdings of one specific position so that I can make sure that I'm not overweighted. And in addition to that, I use Passive to automatically rebalance my ETFs and track every dividend that we receive. It's the perfect tool for a DIY investor who doesn't want to micromanage every single trade that they have. Now, I have the elite version of Passive. However, they do have a free version, which is great if you're just starting out. If you do go for the elite version, I do get a small referral bonus if you use my Passive link, but honestly, I'd recommend it either way. You'll find that link in the video description below if you want to check that out. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't tell myself to buy a specific stock. I'd say, just start now. And what do I mean by that? Well, I wasted 40 years of investing time. Imagine what the portfolio would look like if I had started earlier. Even if I had just started with $100 a month. And the other point here is to keep it simple. I used to think investing was complicated. No one told me. Fees quietly eat away at your returns, that high dividend yields don't always mean good investments. I'm looking at you, Bell, Enbridge, and that covered call ETF QQQY. That trying to time the market is a waste for the average Canadian who has a full-time job, is a father and a husband just like me. I mean, do you have time to read some company's earnings report to determine what the next best stock is? Oh, and then of course, there's all these videos that I do in my spare time. And no one told me that the TFSA is more than an average savings account and is the most powerful tax-free growth tool available in Canada. And if you're not using it for investing, you're falling behind. If you've been sitting on the sidelines thinking it's too late to start investing, I want you to hear this clearly. It's not. I didn't start until I was 50. I felt overwhelmed, I made mistakes, but I learned. And I started. That's all it takes. And you don't need a perfect plan, you just need a starting point. Even small, consistent steps will change your future. If you're over 45 and you're trying to catch up like I did, you're not alone. And if I can go from a total beginner to a $350,000 portfolio in 26 months and counting, you can too. If you want to see my portfolio and other people's portfolios, you should check out Blossom Social. It's like a social network for Canadian investors. Think of it like the Facebook of investing. You can follow real portfolios, see what people are actually buying and holding, and learn from others in the community and see their trades real time. Creating an account is absolutely free. You just need to search for the Crazy Canuck Investor and give me a follow. It's a great way to stay connected and see how others are investing, especially if you're starting later in life like I did. The link is in the video description below. Now, if you want to see the exact ETFs that I use and how I manage my portfolio, you should watch this video here.